Welcome to the Focus on Japan podcast. I'm your host, Lindo.
I am your host, Caleb.
And today we have a guest, and it is Tanner, or what he was used to be called, Japanese Tanner. Is that correct?
That was my Instagram username. I would say that qualifies as what they're calling me.
Correct. Now, did you have that same username on TikTok?
I changed. Now it's different, but before
It was
the same exact.
Okay, great. And so some of you may already know him. If you don't, Tanner used to create content about Japan. It was mainly about life in Japan. Is that correct?
At first it was the Japanese language, then I transitioned to Japan, like Japan life, just vloggy stuff.
Yeah.
Correct. Like,
sure,
I remember
sure.
seeing him on my feed, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" He had about at that time because he deleted his account. We're gonna talk more about that later. He had about 30 or so thousand followers. He was a micro influencer. He had millions of views as well. So we want to get into his story. So
Yeah.
thank you very much, Tanner,
Thank you
for coming to the podcast.
Very excited to talk
Absolutely.
about that.
All right. So I guess the first question was, why did you decide to create videos on TikTok?
Oh, that's a good question. So before TikTok, I actually started on Instagram.
Okay.
It wasn't even a video. It was like those Japanese language. It was like a graphic design
Okay,
stuff. It was
yeah,
like the
yeah.
regular,
I've seen those, yeah.
1 is ichi, 2 is ni. I did that for 2 months just for fun
Okay.
because it was during COVID. So I started in 20.
Okay,
Okay.
sure.
And this was my senior year of college, and I was taking classes online, so I was like, I have nothing better to do, so just might as well start a social media to see what happens. And then 2 months later, I showed my face and made a video, and then it started.
What was the first video?
It was. I'm trying to remember. It was me saying how to say hi in Japanese.
Okay,
It was
very
generic-
simple.
Very
Very
generic
simple.
video. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but those two, I've seen those in my feed. Like, of course, like I'm like a much more advanced Japanese level. I still get just like baby's first Japanese words in the feed every now and millions of views. So of course, it makes sense. Good
Yeah,
idea.
it's a good starting point. from there.
Absolutely.
So you started on Instagram. So how did you pivot to go on TikTok?
I mean, a lot of people use TikTok, especially
Yeah.
during COVID times, right?
Sure.
TikTok was like booming because everyone was home. So at first I started on Instagram just because I was more comfortable there.
Okay.
And then I transitioned to TikTok. I had no specific reason. It was just cause might as well have more, different social medias, and all I have to do is just make the same video and just post it on different social media platforms. So I was like, that will increase my chance of like getting more followers. and
Sure.
numbers. So I was like, might as well try to do that.
I see.
No, I like it. Right. So that's why you moved to TikTok. Why did you leave TikTok? I mean, you developed this following. Like a lot of people dream about getting like 30,000 subscribers or followers, subscribers, whatever's, and then just to like drop it. It must have been a good reason.
Yeah, so for TikTok specifically, I feel like it's because the audience, they were not as, I don't know, I felt like the TikTok comment section, the audience, not everyone, but wasn't as nice as Instagram. The comment section
Okay.
would always be like meaner, more toxic. I think it's because on TikTok, you can make an anonymous account.
Sure.
No
Yeah.
one's gonna. You have a random username, no profile picture, and you'll be okay with that. But on Instagram, most people make like their actual profile.
Right,
Profile,
yeah.
right?
But I'm curious, like, what were they saying? Because you were just creating content. First, it sounded like it was educational content
It
to
was
help
like
people
Japanese, yeah.
learn Japanese, right? And then it was just life in Japan, right? So what was the negative comments about?
For the Japanese one, that's. The funniest one was someone made fun of my teeth. So they were saying it was yellow. Did you brush your
my
teeth?
God.
I was like, oh, come on, you gotta be serious. I actually went to the dentist a couple of weeks after that and did the whitening thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. You were influenced by that comment to take action? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, no, there was like 2 or 3 comments about
Yeah.
that.
But that's what I'm saying. You were influenced
Yes.
from those comments.
Yep.
So if they did not make that, you would not have made that reservation at the dentist.
If you think about it positively, yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it can get to some people. Like some of those comments get like it's weird. Everyone on the internet, or there's not everyone, but some people are so good at just like pinpointing like exactly what your weak point is, and there's like a scattershot thing too, where you get just like a bunch of people making a bunch of random upsetting comments, and just one hits, and all of a sudden the next thing you know, you're making a teeth whitening appointment, and it's
So let me ask you, how many followers did you have at that time?
I don't specifically remember. It was between 30 to 40. Right
Okay.
now, it's still there, the account, but it's like 50,000 right now. But that happened when I had like 30 to 40,000.
Okay, so that was when you were kind of already established as a micro influencer.
Yes, correct.
So when you were growing from, one follower to 10,000 to 20 to 25, did you get any of those comments or did it happen, when you hit 30 and over?
There were some comments here and there. There were some people who were. I was talking about the difference between Hawaii and Japan specifically because I'm from there, Hawaii, and then there were people commenting like the war jokes because the war jokes that in Pearl Harbor.
Sure.
So there are so many videos where I didn't mean to make like an inside joke, but a lot of audience thought it was an inside joke. So many people were talking about that, and for me that's a sensitive topic because it's a very sensitive topic, right? The war stuff.
Sure,
So when many
yeah.
people meme about that, I don't really feel good about that. It's not towards me, but still, I didn't feel good seeing that.
No, that makes
Correct,
sense.
it impacts you as well. Anything else regarding this specific topic?
How about his LIFO thing with TikTok? I mean, no, it sounds pretty cut and dry. It sounds good. And so did you specifically got to you to the point where you didn't want to put up with it anymore? You just rather retreat from the platform than try and take it on the proverbial chin.
Yeah, so it's not like something big happened where I was like, damn it, I'm done.
Okay, right.
It was more like I've always been a sensitive person
Sure,
to begin with,
yeah.
and I didn't really. For me, I'm sure if people saw me, and if people knew me in high school, they wouldn't expect me to show my face on social media.
Really?
Because I've been always that shy, kind of nervous when meeting people, introverted person. So even me, I surprised myself by starting the social media. Who thought I would get 10,000, 10,000, 50,000 followers? So I tried, and I thought it just wasn't meant for me.
Fair.
And I don't have a strong mentality like other creators do.
So when you say it wasn't meant for you, do you mean that it wasn't meant for you to create video content or it's not meant for you to deal with the pressure that comes with it?
Being the tension, so dealing with the audience. I love making content, which
Sure.
is why I do stuff behind the scenes right now. I just don't
see.
want to be the public figure, and I've always been a person that doesn't want that much attention anyway. So
see.
right now, so I stopped making content for my own, and then just working
So I'm
behind the
curious
scenes.
because
right
you
now.
mentioned that you are kind of shy and you don't really like to get much attention. But as you were posting videos, you saw that you were getting more and more and more attention, but then you continued on, right? So what made you continue to post content and create content, knowing that you would continue to make yourself more famous in a sense?
Ooh, that time I was just sometimes, you have those big, boom, when you make one viral video, you get tons of followers.
Oh, yeah.
The adrenaline's insane. Right?
Sure.
I
Oh,
see.
absolutely.
You get a bit not delusional, but you kind of forget everything else, and you just use that to make more videos and
I see.
motivate yourself.
It's absolutely a high, 100%. A lot of creators, they speak about this, really large creators, they're chasing those numbers and they get this big dopamine rush when they upload a new video. They see the numbers go up, subscribers go up, and it's just constantly chasing this, and they'll burn themselves into the ground. Or burn out, run themselves into the ground, combine one sentence. All right, we're good. But yeah, so no, I absolutely see, even for someone who is a little more shy, we're all susceptible to those same just base chemical reactions. Absolutely.
Oh, that's really good. Okay.
Yeah, I like it. So, if you could go back in time, or if you were to move forward from now and create content, would you do it over again? Basically, knowing how things turned out now, would you go back and do what you did as you did?
Yes, because I was a senior in college during COVID, right? So I didn't know what I wanted to do post graduation. It was a scary moment.
Sure.
Who knew a virus will
It's
short in time.
great timing, right as
Yeah.
we graduate.
Exactly. So because I found this big passion for content creation and social media stuff, I'm pretty obsessed with it now. So after work, I would do that. I would think about it during breaks. I would look up how to make better videos, how to make better thumbnails, and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So I found it's a big part of my life right now. So I would, all this experience was magical to me. Sounds weird, but magical. So I would re-experience that if I can.
I think that's the best outcome, honestly. Even if it was bad, just having so much that you can take away from it, or even just discovering a passion like that is fantastic.
So let me ask you, right before you left, was there anything specific that made you decide, okay, I'm going to leave because of these reasons, or was it just because of the accumulation of everything?
Okay, so I left. The first thing I made was Japanese language content. So I decided to leave away from that because of some reasons. Number one, it's because for Instagram. This time I was doing like Instagram, TikTok. Most of the viral videos were like beginner level Japanese language.
Right,
Stuff.
yeah,
If you
yeah.
make a video that's like too advanced, most people are not going to know on a 30-second video.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
If you can, then Japanese wouldn't be a language. It's hard to learn, right? So that reduces like the creativity you have, because you have to own. If you want to grow viral, you have to like make beginner, low, intermediate style.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's the strategy, right?
Yeah.
But my question is, you left the platform. What was the main reason why you left? Was there something that happened before that made you think and say, you know what, I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm going to leave the platform instead of getting bullied on this platform.
Oh, it was more like seeing other people's comments too. It wasn't just my account, and then seeing my comments, and I noticed that I don't know, just that app in general was just very easy to see have negative comments. So I was like, even if it wasn't affecting me directly, I was like, this is not gonna be good for my mental health.
Sure.
And I don't think I can do this long term. If I'm feeling like this at 50K, imagine those 100K, 200K, 250K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get way more.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop either. Again, like I've been chronically online for a long time. I've dabbled in like the influencer like content creation stuff as well. And as you get bigger, like the hate does not stop. Like it even accumulates more. You tend to just get better at dealing with it, or you dip out. Those are really the only two options.
That's a good point that he mentioned. Like, so when you were getting, those negative comments, one, how did you process it? And two, how did you address it?
For me, just talking more about myself, I try to avoid, conflict. So when that happens, I'm so bad at dealing with it. It's not just online, even offline. When someone makes me upset, it takes me a long time to calm down. So whenever I get these comments, especially the teeth one, I was like, I responded to him, like pissed off.
Oh
but
no,
then-
you can't do it.
Yeah,
You can't do it.
People were like, you just gotta ignore them.
Yeah.
It's an unfair world, right?
Yeah.
It's the person saying the mean stuff that gets protected in social media, not the victim of the cyberbullying.
Interesting. Can you elaborate on that?
Because I mean, it's not illegal to say mean things on social media, right? But then if the creator says something back, it kind of makes the creator look bad, a little bit immature.
Do you
for
agree?
responding.
It's two things. Like there's the power level isn't the same, right? When you're a creator with like even 50,000 subs, or it gets exasperated, you get up to 1 million or something like that, and you can say, hey, look at this guy right here. Fuck this guy. All of a sudden, you've got like your people at your back who might come try and dox this person, might try and attack this person in other ways. So really, while you are being hurt, you have way more power than they do in that situation, but your pain is just like a little more silent. And as like an added bonus is you can do that. You can send your followers after them. Again, not recommended. We try not to do this. But the more you like address or point out people being mean to you, it just kind of like it's chum to the sharks, right? More people are going to come and do those same things. They go, oh, this got a big reaction when I talked about his teeth. I'm going to like take this to the Discord or to Reddit, and we're all going to talk about his teeth.
Yeah. If you get a mean comment, if you respond back, the response to that can be really bad.
Yeah.
So the best thing is to, they're trying to get attention from saying something mean, just leave them alone, or else the fire might get bigger.
Yeah.
And that sucks. That's unfair. But that's what it's like to be a content creator, right? With a decent amount of following. And
True.
A good amount of following. So for me, that felt unfair. So and it was like stressing me out. And if I get more of these, I don't know how long I can make this, right? So I was thinking about long term quite early on.
No, that's really important. That's good to have that foresight. Absolutely.
So to answer the question of how you handled it, it was you not responding or you responding?
Both. So I ignored them as much as I can.
Okay.
Or I would take a screenshot of that and then post it on my story and rant. Or I would respond.
I
Those
see.
last two don't do if you're trying to make videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
The best thing is to ignore. But if I'm going to get this mad over someone making fun of my teeth, imagine, some people get death threats and all that
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Or swatted. I mean, probably not in Japan, but like, especially like in America, like it's a big deal to get targeted like that.
It's scary. It's
Yeah.
traumatic.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people don't think about that when they want to make videos, but I think that's like something really.
That's
it's
important.
a negative
Yeah.
thing. It's not just like positive and fun and games.
Exactly. Right.
So mainly just ignore. That
Yeah,
would be your
that's the
advice, and that's
best
what.
way.
And you've done it before, but that would be your advice.
But it's easier, yes. But it's easier said than done. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people say, just ignore them lightly. It's better to like if you're gonna give advice to a creator that's dealing with that, it's just better to say, I know how you're feeling, but it's just the only way you can do this is to ignore them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've got a question though. So you've recently come back to social media, right, and creating. And before you were saying you really enjoyed the behind the scenes stuff like way more. So do you have is like this an anonymous account and you're not in front of the camera, or are you back in front of the camera making content?
So this is the creator that I'm editing.
Oh,
videos
okay,
for,
so-
editing videos. Yeah. So I'm just literally doing stuff behind the scenes.
Got it.
And the best thing, the only thing I get is like a tag just for credit. That's all, and that's like enough for me. And I still feel the same way as making videos on my own. Like I look at the videos, like, is it doing well?
Sure,
I still have
yeah.
the same feeling.
That's
so,
good.
And just it's just that I'm not in the set. I'm not in the video, and that makes me feel way like safer for my mental health.
I mean, that sounds like the perfect compromise. You got to do what you love to do. It sounds like a steady paycheck. It's not incumbent on you to like perform in terms of stats and stuff. Well, I mean, you still have to perform well or otherwise. But no, I think that sounds great.
Yeah, and it's nice, and this is something I might do long term. If I feel
Yeah.
ready, then I might go back make a little bit of videos.
Sure.
I don't need I want to make videos just to make it, not because of like numbers and stuff.
I get that.
I want to enjoy the creativity. If
Yeah.
I were to start again.
I see. You know, that's really interesting there because there's a lot of people who want to be creators,
Yeah.
who want to be influencers, right? But maybe they're not positioned to be influencers, right? You, and correct me if I'm wrong, what you're basically saying is, look, I'm a shy person, but I went and I became an influencer, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
You know, for me, you know, it's being behind the scenes, creating the content, still being in social media, still doing all that stuff, but not being in front of the camera.
Exactly.
Right? I think that's important because a lot of people don't necessarily know how to find that. Like they really want to be famous and they keep striving for that, but they're not cut for it.
Yeah.
Right? So I think your story is really good. So then the question would be, what would your advice be to people who want to be influencers on social media but are also shy like you?
Okay, so it's pretty much giving advice to someone like me.
Yeah.
Okay. So first off, if you want to do stuff behind the scenes, you have to know what it's like to be a creator. So you can go make videos. And you have to learn how to make videos, learn how to edit on your own, learn how to film on your own, learn how to come up with good ideas on your own. And then if you ever come up with a block where you're like, I can't do this because of the pressure, because I don't want attention, don't stop there. I actually stopped there. I was about to give up. But then I realized that there's like a demand for behind the scenes stuff like editing, because that thing takes so long to do.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
It takes longer than filming, because filming you can just like film, and then editing you have to cut all that raw footage and make sure all that stuff is, you have to add sound effects, music. So a lot of people actually are looking for editors, not just Japan content in general, but like the content creation world in general. So if you realize that being in a camera, being an influencer is not for you, then you can always like hone your behind the scenes skills and try to find someone to work with there.
True.
You'll still be doing the same thing, except that you're just not on camera.
And no, I like that. But also, like specifically, let's say they do want to be in front of the camera, right? Let's see, how do I say this? What like advice would you give for them? Because you were in a good situation because you had like value to offer, right? There are a lot of people who are like, I want to be an influencer. I want people to look at me. I want people to pay attention to me. What are you offering the audience? Like, are you just like gonna do a TikTok dance, like, or are you like offering some sort of actual value, like you were offering like Japanese skills and showing people a place that they haven't been before or interested in? There's value there, but a lot of people like might be struggling to figure out what they can provide.
Okay, so before they get started in anything, just find a niche. So find something that you think you can passionately create content for a long ass time.
Yeah.
You can't just be dancing on TikTok to get viral. Even if you get a lot of followers from that, they're just gonna be seeing you as someone that's dancing. How are you gonna, if you want to do like digital marketing, social media marketing, or learn how to make money as an influencer, how are you gonna, I don't know if brands want to do brand deals with someone that's just dancing, right? So you have to offer value to people that you like making videos about. So you gotta find that. For me, I thought that was Japanese at first. But then later on, I realized that I like making more lifestyle vlogging content.
Sure, yeah.
Japan travel stuff instead. Your niche might change throughout your journey, but you just have to find one thing that you want to make, that you think you can make videos about, and you can make the adjustment from there after that.
I like it. Sounds good.
Thank you.
I see. So, looking back at your experience, right? We were talking about people becoming influencers, right? If you knew what you know now, in the beginning, would you have said, you know what? being in front of the camera is just not going to work for me. I know myself, self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to go straight to editing and being an editor or doing stuff behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have done that if you know the information now?
Actually, no, because how are people going to know that you can edit and make good videos if you
True.
don't have a portfolio?
True.
For me, the Instagram videos was like my portfolio for other creators to see that, for them to know that, oh, this guy can make pretty okay content, right? So if you didn't make any content, if you say that you're good at making content, you might just be talking a lot,
Yeah. What's your resume? Trust me, bro. Like that's just
Exactly,
like
yeah. You can't just, show, not tell. You got to show them that you can make good videos. Saying that I know how to make good videos is anyone can say that. Yeah.
Correct, but what you could have done instead of being in front of the camera, you could have went to some creator and said, "Hey, look, I'll edit videos for free. I just want to gain experience." Right? So you still didn't need to necessarily go in front of the camera to get those skills.
That's true. I feel like the process of that will be much easier if you have like a portfolio instead of just saying,
Yeah,
I'll do it for free.
No, I do agree with him because also like let's say you're like a large creator or even a medium creator and you just get some random kid saying like, hey, I want to work for you for free. Like you still gotta like manage that kid and like send him stuff and it still costs you time and you don't know if the product you're gonna get is worth that time you're spending on him. So I do see where he's coming from, but I also see where you're coming from too.
Because not everyone who's shy who wants to get into this, whether it be social media, in front of the camera, behind the scenes, is going to want to be in front of the camera just to test it.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I was asking for you when you look back at it personally. But it seems that, as you mentioned, you gain a lot of experience from this. You learned a lot from it. So, going a little bit into the bullying aspect, there's people who just, they can't handle the pressure. I mean, you mentioned a great example here, how their negative comments led you to taking actual action, right?
Yeah.
So, there could have been more comments that were much worse, right? So, for you, what's your advice to people when they get those negative comments and how to respond to it?
Make creator friends.
Yeah.
Because you can't just be handling this stuff on your own, and your parents might not understand what it's like to be an influencer because the generation is different, and your friends won't understand you because they don't know what it's like to make videos. All they're gonna say is, "Oh, just ignore them." But it's easier said than done. So for me, when I rant about this to other creator friends, they understand and they kind of like rant with me, so I feel much better.
Yeah.
You can content creation can be a lonely thing because you're mostly making videos and editing and filming on your own. So if you have other people like that, that you're connected with, you can always like Zoom them, you can always meet them in person and talk about that. It's just tough handling it on your own. So my advice is to make as much creator friends, genuine creators, not just because they have a high following. That's another problem. Because
How did you do it?
How did I do it? Oh, that's a good question. So I did it from Instagram, and one of my closer friends, I actually just commented on his Instagram, and then he saw it, and he followed me back, and then I DM'd him, and then it led to a Zoom call, and then I met him in person one time, and we still Zoom, and
I see.
yeah. So I think Instagram, just a small different advice, but Instagram is the easiest way to connect with other creators. Instagram or Twitter.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can see that for sure. Well, X now, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
No,
about
that's really, really solid advice because you're saying that is how you combat the hate. Because in that situation, it's only you by yourself getting the hate.
Yeah.
Right. But if you bring other people specifically who are in that space, regardless if they have, 1,000 followers
Numbers
or
don't matter.
100,000, right? They can at least relate to some degree. And I think. Do you think that if you would have done that, for example, when they made that comment about your teeth, do you think that if you had creator friends at that time that you could reach out to, that you still would have made that appointment?
It would have. That's a good question. So I think
I
it
agree,
still
agree.
would have led to that point where if I just kept complaining to my creator friends about it, they're gonna eventually tell me, "You gotta make a decision. You either continue doing this and suck it up. Eventually, if I complain too much, a tough love advice.
Oh, no, absolutely, that comes out.
And then
yeah.
you'll start to realize the more you complain, you're gonna realize on your own, like, oh my god, wait, I'm complaining way too much about this. But everyone else is ignoring them, doing a good job ignoring them. I'm the only one that's not doing that. So is this meant for me? Kind of thing. So I feel like in the end, even if I, maybe occasionally, like once every 2 months, that's okay. But if you do that like every single week or every single day, when you see a hate comment,
Correct.
that's gonna make you,
So do you think if you had those people around you at the time that you
Yeah.
still would have made that action?
I still would have made the
You still would have made it. Okay.
Yeah, I still would have.
Oh, that's fair.
Oh, it's not meant for me. And yeah, I think the relatability thing with other creators is like an occasional thing.
So just to clarify, I think we might be talking about different things. What I
Oh,
mean
sorry.
by take that action, I mean about going to the dentist, not leaving.
I thought you meant me quitting. Okay, I'm sorry. So the dentist, I got multiple comments about that.
Okay.
So I was like, and I'm probably gonna get more anyway.
Yeah, now we're broadcasting it to TikTok once again. So what's up, TikTok chat? How you doing, guys? Yeah, just
Yeah, but I just want to know if you had that community,
Yeah.
right? If you
I
had
still would've.
influence, you would have still went to the dentist.
I think I still would have went to
You think
the
okay.
to avoid. It's the best to avoid as much. You know, if I can do something about it,
Okay.
I would.
Okay.
Mhm.
So before we go, just quickly on that, because some people really struggle with this,
Mhm.
And not just about your specific case, but in regards to whatever they're dealing with. When do you think people should take an action from a negative comment versus not taking that action?
Ooh. Okay. So first you gotta experience it, and then you have to self-reflect on it, and then know what to do when it happens. And you try doing that same thing over and over, and if you think you still feel the same way, then you should like think about it. Like try to do something. Like you're doing whatever it takes. That really depends on how much hate comments they get and how severe it is, because everyone takes hate comment differently depending on this incident.
And I also want to be very clear, because this can be like dangerous. This is specifically about like some physical aspect or something. If someone's telling you to like delete yourself, like under no circumstances should you ever consider taking like that sort of comment to heart. But yeah, no, for like a physical change or like zeroing in on an insecurity or something of that nature.
Yeah, but with that insecurity, people could go and have surgeries done on them.
Yeah,
because
true.
of
No,
that,
there can
right?
be
That's what I'm
very
saying,
extreme
just
actions.
for
No,
that.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
So that's why I was wondering for you, like, did you have a line to say, for these comments, I will take to heart and I will take an action. And these comments, yeah, maybe they are saying something about me physically, but I'm not going to take an action.
Ooh, yeah. So I think the worst thing I can remember is my teeth. So anything else, I've never been called like overweight. So I don't really know what that's like. But it's really, for me personally, if I was a little bit overweight, if they kept calling me that, I probably would have done something about it.
Okay.
After, when, I don't specifically know, because that
Yeah.
really depends on the person. For me, I'm sensitive, so if I get like 2 to 3 comments, I'll probably like be a little sad. And
Okay.
then if that continued for a month, I would be like, okay, I gotta do something about this.
Okay.
Well,
Makes
just
sense.
turn it into content, man. Like turn up the gym with your yoga pants on, start hitting the squats. Whole other
Yeah.
like demographic opens up. You're in.
Exactly. I can make like a video how people are making fun of me, and then I record myself going to the gym, and then I show them my result, and then I can silence the haters, and that could be inspirational content actually. So
And that is different. We are going to end this now, but the reason I brought that up is because, like I said, a lot of people do suffer for that. And it's like when people mention like a negative comment, it could also be, for example, if you are overweight and someone says you're very fat, yeah, that's not nice.
not nice, yeah.
But maybe they're right. Right? And you can do something. No, I'm serious.
No,
right?
I
I'm
agree.
serious.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
It was the delivery. Like you're fat, and maybe they're right. It's just
And you
got
can
me, man.
actually do something about it, right? So you
Yeah.
can actually take that negative comment and make it work for yourself, right? And because you could do something. But there are some comments that maybe you wouldn't want to take to heart. And so that's why I was asking you a little more about that.
I think it depends, like controllable, uncontrollable.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's a
for
huge
sure,
one.
for sure.
That's a-
yeah,
that's a-
yeah.
If it's like your eyes or nose, I'm not going to do surgery just for that.
Okay, good. Okay, so you did have a line.
Of
Maybe
course,
you
yeah.
didn't write it
Oh.
down, but you had it mentally.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, that's very important. Any other final questions?
No, I'm good on this one. I think it's been very interesting,
right.
very
Yeah,
enlightening.
Thank you. Yeah.
It was great having you on. Thank you very much. And that wraps up today's episode for the Focus on Japan podcast. Thank you very much for coming on today, Tanner.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Good to
Yep.
have you.
And we'll see you soon.